In this session, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Let's Think approach and some of the evidence for it. And then I'm going to give you some ideas of how these strategies can be put into your everyday mathematics teaching practice. Because although these lessons are only taught once a fortnight, what I found when I went through the training was that it changed my pedagogy across the curriculum and in my everyday mathematics teaching. So I'm going to start by giving you, let me just share my screen, and excuse me, I'm a little bit croaky this evening. Let me just find the right screen. I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of the history of Let's Think and where it comes from. So can everybody see this screen?
Yep.
Yep. So this is a little bit about how long Let's Think has been around, actually. Its original name, its research name, was cognitive acceleration, which is a bit of a mouthful. So it's been renamed in recent years to be called Let's Think, which is a bit more practical. So it began in the 1980s, as you can see, and it originally began in science. It was cognitive acceleration in science education. And after that was shown to be very, very effective in terms of raising children's attainment, they began to experiment in maths. And then more recently, there's been some experiments in English and in other subjects of the curriculum. And just a little bit of graphs here to show you the difference that it makes to students' learning. So this graph shows what happened for 16-year-olds in the UK who was using the science intervention in their schools, the Let's Think science intervention. And you'll see that it made a really, really big difference to their results. So you can see in the graph here that the case schools, the ones who were studying the program, were the ones with the little crosses on. And you can see they're way, way above the average schools, and all of the control schools are much, much lower down. So it made a big difference to their attainment after studying case for a couple of years. Sorry, let's go on to the next one. Yeah, and then you'll see also it didn't just make a difference in their science, in the subject where they were taught Let's Think, it also made a difference in their maths and their English GCSEs, the exams they studied age 16. And that was 3 years after they'd studied it in year 7 and year 8, so as 11 and 12 and 13-year-olds. So what we're seeing is that if you do these lessons once a fortnight over a period of 2 years, it makes a difference across the board in terms of curriculum understanding and development. And that lasts for a long time after the intervention. And that's certainly the case I found for my own pupils in my own school and in my own classes. So this is another very similar one in terms of maths, showing exactly the same thing. Again, 3 years after the schools had experienced Let's Think maths. You'll see the red dots there are way above the line. They were doing way better than the blue squares, which are the control schools that didn't have Let's Think in their classrooms. And that was 3 years after the intervention. So what we're seeing here, and this I could have shown you many, many more graphs of many different times. What we're seeing here is a big impact on children's thinking and understanding across the curriculum that lasts over time. So that's a little bit about the proof that Let's Think works.